FlossTube, I'm Nicole and this is DDs FlossTube episode number 93. So let's get started. Good morning or good evening, everybody, no matter where you're watching from. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me while I talk about the things that I have worked on in my hobby, which is cross-stitch and anything that's associated with it. This is a little bit of an update on the channel and different things that are happening and all that sort of stuff. So I just sort of cover everything that I've done during the week, but it is predominantly about cross-stitch. All right, so I have worked on four projects this week. I didn't realize it was 4. So I've worked on 4 projects this week. I have had no finishes, but I do have a mini finish. So we'll get into that a little bit later. We've got some things to talk about. It is September, so we're going to talk a little bit about Sampler September that I am participating in, and I'll show you my plans for that. We've also got DDs Spooktober coming up in October, so it's time to start thinking about what you're going to be working on for DDs Spooktober. I know that a few of you have been doing it for the last couple of years. The first year we all started the things, and now we're working on bits and pieces that we need to work on. We also I'm going to talk a little bit about something that I talked about on my Stitch With Me, which is a family sampler that I want to start up, so perfect for September. I'm going to sort of start planning it and everything, but I'm thinking that I'm going to have that as my New Year's start for 2023, and then just some other plans that I've got that are sort of floating around in my head and all the rest of it. So let's get into it. I will start with what I have worked on. Now, August being I know that this is now the 2nd of September, but August being my birthday month for both FlossTube and for my actual birthday, FlossTube anniversary is on the 8th and my actual birthday is on the 27th. I actually have a stitch that I started in 2020 during lockdowns and stuff like that, and it is the blue flower, again with how I hold it. This is what it is. The hashtag that we're using is DD's Birthday Sale 2020. And yes, it's still going on. There's still a number of us that are doing it. I have been just putting a few stitches into this every sort of day for August. And so now I am in two minds. Do I keep going and just do an hour here, an hour there, or, half an hour here, half an hour there, work on it daily until I get it finished, or do I put it away for next year? Because technically it is a birthday sale. So, but I did get a fair bit into this when it first came back out, which I completely forgot about. And I didn't bring it out until the middle of August because I completely forgot about my FlossTube anniversary as well. I had done part of this, a couple of bits in this border. I'd finished that. I had done this flower, and I had I think I just started on the peacock. So in that time, I have continued this stem on, and the flower rolls down under. I probably should roll it down so you can see what I've done for the whole month. This is a really old frame, so it's really stiff. So you can see there that I've got some more of the vine in, and I've gone down, and I can't wind it any more than that because I've got permanent stitches in there holding it side tension on it, so I'll fix it up later. So yeah, so I did all that, and then I have done the peacock, and I still haven't gone back to the peacock because I think I've made a counting error in there. Now, I have checked up here where I've done the full crosses on there. So I have checked all that. That is all correct. So I know that I can count off that now at the top. Down the bottom here, I believe it's in the correct position. It's just a mistake that I've made. See, there's all these bits and pieces in, and I'll just show you on the actual picture. So we've got all these little bits and pieces in the peacock. Now I have counted down the bottom here, and that all seems to be right. The mistake I've made is somewhere up in here, so I've just got to find it, and I've been procrastinating, so I'm guessing that peacock's not going to get done for a while. And then in the past 2 weeks I have done all of this border except for 2 of them, and I had the word night and the word night, I think, up to the H, and I finished all the T and done that. And I've just been putting, half an hour here, an hour there, a little bit here, a little bit there, and I just have it, I've had it in my room, so when I start stitching, it'll be the first one that I'll pull up, and I'll just sit it straight onto my frame because I don't have to lock it into anything. And then I just put a few stitches in. Sometimes I might do just 1 strand, sometimes I'll do 3. The other thing that I've decided to do, now if you have a look at here, and I think it'll show up on camera, with this, anyone that's got this chart, they'll know. With this chart, so we've got the solid border, which I've done on the side, and up the top, I haven't filled it in. I've just left it like that. There is another colour in there, and that's why I've left it like that, but I'm actually leaving it. I'm not going to add that colour in. So my top border and my bottom border will actually look like diamonds, have the diamonds across. Instead of squared off like this with the diamonds, it's actually going to be a rounded diamond, or circles, you could call them, I guess. But I've decided that I'm not putting the green up in here. I'm using CXC colours on this, and this is from Sew It All Australia, and I cannot remember the colour of this fabric. And it's on the selvage, I think, down the bottom. I think it's called Purple Haze. Is it? I don't know. I can't remember. But it's a purple, because purple's my favourite colour, and it's mottled. I really like it. I think it sets off with the blues and everything. So basically what I've decided to do, so that purple can showcase through, I'm not filling in the diamonds with the whatever colour. I think it's bamboo that goes in there. Yeah, I think it's bamboo that goes in there. So I'm not going to put the white in on any of this border at all. So that's going to mean that I'm going to get it done quicker, not much quicker because it's not a lot of stitches. But I really like it like that because even from a distance, that purple is just popping through, like you can see it. If I put my hand behind it, you can see it quite well. And so I just think I'm just going to leave it out, and I like the shape of that border. I do like the sides, and I do like how it looks on the picture, but there's just something about that. And even Savannah looked at it, and she goes, just leave it. She goes, I like it like that. And considering that she'll probably end up with it in her house, she really should probably get a say. Because she comes out and tells me what she's taking, and I'm like, no, you're not. I'm going to enjoy it. She's funny like that. Okay, so the next one that I worked on is Snow Village, and this is what mine's going to look like. This is a very dodgy picture, I know, but I'm doing it in one piece and turning it into a cushion, so that's what it's going to look like. I have been working on the frozen hot chocolate. This is my mini finish. I do have a couple of little leaves to do, but I'm going to do it when I do the next garland. So I got that little house finished, and I just have to do the back stitching on that. Again, I didn't want to start up a whole new thread to have it hanging around. Hickory sticks is the colour, so I've got hickory sticks over in this next one. And so when I'm doing the back stitching on that one, I'll do the back stitching on this one. So it's just going to remain blank for a little while. But I really love how this turned out. I'm using all the called for colours for this one. I got this as a kit from the Fat Quarter Shop. And the next one that I will be working on, which I'm starting this weekend, and then it'll be my stitch with me, is the popsicle cart, and that's what that looks like. Very, very, very cute. So I'll be working on that one. All right, the next one that I worked on was it's called Autumn Glows, and I'll just find the picture. What did I do with the picture? It is. So it's called Autumn Glows. It is by Little Dove Designs. They're based in the UK, and I got this off Etsy, I think, and I first originally seen it on Instagram. Someone had, I think she may have even done a post, but that's what it's going to look like. I've got all the seasons, so I've got And I've also stitching on winter at the moment as well. I haven't started summer or spring. I will probably look at starting spring around about now. So I've got that, and I just have them, and then I'll just work on them. So during the months of spring, because I have a lot of American viewers as well, I will work on both spring and autumn. Winter's been put away. I haven't worked on that this winter. I started it at the beginning of the year, and I did a little bit, I think, at the beginning of winter, but I didn't, yeah. But that is how cute it is going to be. I have done this, and look at me go, how professional am I? I've got it on a board. It's just a big piece of fabric for such a little piece. Like I'm going to have a ton left over, and I'm going to take little elements out of it and just make little things for the dough bowl over time. Okay, so this one is 18 count Ada. I'm using CXC threads. I started it on the 29th of the 12th, 2021 in anticipation of no new starts. And yeah, I think I've earned myself a couple of starts because I finished stuff, but I'm to be honest, I'm not even really doing it anymore. I'm just running my own race at this point in time. So if I want to start something, I will. I don't know if I'm going to start the spring one, but I really want to because I really like it. So the few changes that I love this border. Like, it is so cute. I've still got to do some of it. So when I did take a picture of it, and it's over on Instagram, I had done the outside circles down here, the brown border, the green, half a leaf there, and one of these, and just the outside, so the red on the outside. Okay. In my session of stitching on this, I spent in the last week, I've spent about 4 hours on this, 4 or 5 hours, while watching FlossTube and stuff like that. So I have done the grass, I've done the little jack-o'-lantern, the step to the house, part of the door. I've done all of that top border. I've done that border. I've done all of these circles bar one, and they're all filled in now, and I did all the leaves as well on that. So I got a fair bit done, and it was a pretty casual sort of stitch. I wasn't like fully focusing on it. I was just sort of putting some stitches in, watching some FlossTube, putting some stitches in, watching some FlossTube. So had I concentrated on it, I probably would have had the house done as well. But there's a few things on here that I want to, like I've got to change. So I am changing the month in here, and that's just in backstitch. So basically what I will do is I will leave that section blank, and then I will put the months of our autumn here, which is March, April, May. I will put them in, and then basically what I'll do is I will take some of the elements out of here, so maybe some leaves or something, and fill up that space. But I'll generally start it where she has started it, and I'll start in the center and work my way out, and then that way it'll fit in really well. And then, as I said, I can take little elements, like there's little birds, and there's a, you know, I might be able to fit the little fox that's here. I might be able to fit him up there as well, or a mushroom or something. I will take something out of it and I'll fill that space, and then I'll do the same for each one. So I will just leave the months vacant, and then I will just fill or take something out. Obviously on the ones where the months are shorter, I'm probably going to have to take some little elements out to fit them in or shift them and stuff like that. So I will just rechart that section, and then that'll make it super easy for me to have it suit my neck of the woods. What else did I work on this week? Oh, yeah. I also worked on cinnamon stars. I love Plum Street Sampler stuff. So this is cinnamon stars. This has been hanging around for a little while. I started this in late 2019, and I just put it a little bit in every now and again. I really do like it, and I sort of don't want it to finish either. But in saying that, I do have a couple of other Plum Street Sampler houses ones as well. So I looked through my stash, and I've completely forgot that I had them, and I was looking through my stash, and I went, oh, well, if I do finish it, I've got others to start. So I am doing this on a 28 count Monaco, and it's coffee tea dye, and I bought it like this from 123 Stitch. I think it's called tea. It's tea dyed. It's that color anyway. That's the color I got it from 123 Stitch. It was before I started to go into my dyeing. Oh, and the fabric, still not with it. The fabric, I had a few people ask me what this fabric is. This is hand dyed by me, and the colorway is called Autumn, and every autumn piece turns out a little bit different. That is pretty much the true color that you can see there of it, and that's the mottling on it as well. I think I'm out of stock of this one, so I'm waiting on a supply of HAED to come. I think I may have some left in my 28 count, maybe even my 32. I don't know. You'll have to go over to the website and have a look. They're all sitting up there, and I think I can see one. It's either sand or autumn. Sand is a little bit lighter, like it looks like the color sand, but it's got some of the darker bits through it, whereas this is dark with the light bits through it, and this is called Autumn. Okay, so if you're chasing some of that, as I said, every dye lot is slightly different. So yeah, and even weave is a little bit lighter than what the HAED is. All right, so this one, as I was saying, is 28 count Monaco, and it's this Swigart fabric, and I bought it from 123 Stitch back 2019. And so last time you seen it, I had the sunflowers done. This part, nothing's been done on the house or the stars. That was done before the sunflowers. So I had done the sunflowers and the fence. So all the fence is done, and then in my session this week of working on this, which was a couple of hours, I think I worked on this for about an hour and a half. I had this one done and this one done and half of this one already done. This actually had a strip through it, like this one over here, had a strip through it, so I filled that in, and then I've done all of these, and I've just got to put one more stitch here. I thought I made a counting error, but I hadn't. It's actually on the chart. I've got to put one more stitch, and I just run out of floss, so it's hanging on the back at the moment, so I've just got to put one more stitch after I finish starting the scarecrow. So all I really have left on this are the stars coming out of the chimney. So I'm up to the windows on the house here. I'm up to these windows here, and so I've got a little bit of that front of the house, that side of the house. I've started the scarecrow, so he's going to go quick as, and then I've just got the corn to do, and then all the stars coming out of the chimney, these ones. So the stars don't take very long at all. They're just tedious because they swap and change the colors. So but it's coming along nicely. I'm really liking it. I'm going to be framing this, and I'm framing all the Plumster sampler ones, and I'm going to do it in like a rustic wooden frame, which is probably going to cost me a pretty penny, but I'm going to go and talk to the framer up here. I think we've got a new framer in town at the old frame shop. So, yeah. All right, but that's everything that I've worked on, which is pretty good. Like, that's pretty good. My stitching mojo has definitely come back for sure. Like, I'm really enjoying it, much to my husband's disgruntlement, because I don't want to watch TV. So what I've been doing is I've been going out watching an hour of TV with him, doing some hand stitching on my hand stitching stuff, so on my borrowed sashiko stitching, which is making it slow because I'm only doing a little bit each day, but it's still getting done at the end of the day. And then I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. Goes, yeah, cool, no worries, I'm going to go to bed too. So we go to bed about 8:30 or whatever. We're so old. But the thing is, neither one of us go to sleep until like midnight, 11 o'clock midnight. Sometimes he's still up at like 1:30. I go out and I hear his TV going, and I'm like, what are you doing? Go to sleep. Because we don't sleep in the same room because we both snore and keep each other awake. And he drives a truck, so he needs to be refreshed. And so, yeah, so it's quite funny. Like, it's just that I'm not I do watch TV, but I just don't engage in it like he does. It's his hobby. Like, he loves TV. He loves watching the rubbish that's put on there, whereas I find it a complete waste of time. I would much rather go and do cross-stitching or reading or something along those lines, which he finds an incredible waste of time. So I've been told. So anyway, I digress. We're going to be talking about September sampler. I don't know. Sampler September is what we're going to talk about. Now, I have 3 samplers on the go. I have one from the Gift of Stitching magazine, which is I've since learned that it's not actually a Bristol Sampler reproduction. It is a inspired by. So I am not doing it in red because it's not a true Bristol Sampler. Now, for those that have been around for a while, I have talked about samplers. I do love the look at them. I haven't really stitched any. I adore them. I really do. I love the backstories of them and stuff like that. I love listening to Nicole from Hands Across the Sea, and just how she's so passionate about them and the stories and the research that goes into them and all of that sort of stuff. I just love it so much. And like, I'm not a historian, like into history or anything like that. I am a bit and I'm not, but as the older I'm getting, the more intrigued I am by it. So I'm absolutely loving it. And like, I've watched many of her videos many different times, like, and I've rewatched them again because I just love looking at them. So I bit the bullet last week in anticipation of September sampler coming up, and I bit the bullet and I bought my first one. So I got notification yesterday or the day before that it's been shipped. So when it comes, I will show you, and then I'm going to kit it all up. I'm going to use the called for colors and stuff like that because it's my first one. But it just really, I just was so drawn. It's one of their older ones on their catalogue as well, and I was just so drawn to it. I think it was like maybe the 5th or 6th one that they released, and yeah, I just love it. I love the colours. I love everything about it, so I really want to do it. And so I bit the bullet and I bought the booklet. I was going to get the PDF download, but I went, no, I actually want the booklet because that can sit on my bookshelf once I'm finished with it, and I'm going to set that up in a frame, and basically I will just work on that over time and all the rest of it. So the other ones so when that comes, I will probably start that straight away. Got floss going everywhere. So I have a couple on the go. I've got one from the Blue Flower, which is, it's a sampler, but it's not an older style, like it's not a reproduction or anything like that. And then, as I said, I've got that Bristol inspired one, and then I've got the Janet Irving sampler, and that's by charted by Jean Farish. And I believe, I'm just having a look here, it is actually her great-great-grandmother, and it was first, she was born in 1819. And she was 17 years old when she stitched this particular sampler. And in 1851, she married George Farish. And then basically it's got a little bit of history there. So when you purchase her, this is a PDF download I got off her Etsy page. Everything that you get in it, like I'll show you like she gives you the legend and everything like that. She also gives you, and this is just printed off on my dodgy printer, she also gives a original picture, and then that as well. Like, how blessed is she to have this still in her family? Like, it's so amazing. Yeah, so this one, I don't know when she released this on that. It isn't one of her older ones, but yeah, that's what comes with it. The picture on the front I've got, and that's what it looks like. Okay, so I love that house and all the alphabets in it, and that border is just divine. So yeah, and I am using the Call for Colors in DMC. Yes, in DMC. It's got eyelets in it. I'm just having a look what we've got in it. Sorry, I've just gone vague. I did have it written down, but I don't seem to have that piece of paper there anymore. So it has 4-sided stitches. It's got eyelets in it, which I don't think they're Algerian eyelets. I think they're just because they've got more stitches in them than an Algerian eyelet. So it's just an eyelet, and then it's got cross stitches. And what else do we have in it? As I said, we've got the 4-sided, and as I work on this, I will show you, and I'm going to try and get to all the stitches in it as we go. It's also got Smyrna crosses as well as an alphabet, which looks absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, so basically what we will do as I'm working on it, and I don't know if I can get this up close enough or not to the camera and it focus, but you can see there it's got the 4-sided stitches, it's got eyelets, it's also got the Smyrnas. Where are they? They are this big one, I think. This one here. That. So yeah, it's got a fair few stitches in it, and I'm looking forward to getting some time into that. So I'm going to show you where it is. I'm going to show you where they all are at this point, and this is not professional at all. I've got floss hanging out everywhere. I am doing this on iced coffee. It is a 32 count. It is absolutely stunning. The colors are just popping out. I might just move some of these threads to the back so you can actually see what's going on. Oh, got something going on there. That didn't quite work how I wanted it to. So bear with me for a second. I'm still not altogether there. My brain is not functioning at all. I've got to do a little bit of weaving and stuff. And I've got threads parked and whatnot because I'm working down and across. Because I'm a little bit intimidated by the border. I'm gonna get it wrong. And this particular one, I am doing one cross at a time. So I'm double checking and triple checking, and I started this last year. And let me just fold this up, and it has been folded up. I'm going to give this a bit of a press and get some of these creases out, and I'm going to put it in a large tube. So I started this last year, and that's what I've done so far. So when we get to the end of the month, I will take a screenshot of this or add it in. I won't delete these videos. I will add in where I'm up to and to where I'm now. So you can see there that we've got cross stitches, and then this alphabet here is a 4-sided stitch, and I've never done that before, so that's the first time I've done it. And her instructions are really clear too. Like you can Google search these and you'll get videos. But I'm loving the colors. I love that iced coffee. That's sort of the color that it is there. It's got a slight mottling through it. It's an even weave, and I got this from Sew It All Australia. And yeah, so the colors are just popping on that. It's going to be beautiful once it's done. So that is one of them that I'm working on. And I've talked a little bit more about this one because this is a genuine reproduction. And as I said, this is her grandmother's or great-grandmother's. It does say it somewhere. I think it actually says it on her website. Okay, so generations later, Janet Irving Farish became the great-great-great-grandmother of my daughters, Catherine and Elizabeth. So that's Jean Farish telling the story. No, it's beautiful. I love it. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to get some more stitches in it. And of course, I had to have an antique looking needle minder on that, and that one I got from Silks For You in there. I got their Silks For You Christmas Advent a couple of years back, and they are the colours that I am working with. So yeah, oh, there goes one. I'll get that later. Oh, that's my little nest. I always have a nest. Like a little rat's nest. So they're the colours. They're just beautiful, and they're going to just pop. And I will just drop this down on the ground so I know that my floss is down there. Otherwise I'll forget it's down there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting in. And as I said, I've only got 3, and I'll probably start that one that will come from, and it depends whether I can get the fabric and whatnot, whether I can dye some fabric for it, or and I'm thinking that I'm going to do it on 56 count. I know. Oh, what am I thinking? I am not intimidated by fabric at all. I will give anything a go. One of two things are going to happen. I'm going to end up with a phenomenal piece of work, or I'm not going to stitch on it and I will start it on something smaller. But yeah, I have already stitched on 40 count, and with my magnifiers I don't really find a problem with it. So yeah, I'm just going to go for it. and it'll be what it'll be. So I've got to find some, excuse me, hiccups. I've got to find some 56 count. And I'm thinking that I want to actually stitch it on Nicola on Hands Across the Sea Samplers FlossTube. She showed a piece, and I couldn't tell you what video it was in, but I think it was called Wood Smoke. I'll have to go back and have a look. And she got it from, is it Tabby Cat Linens? So yeah, they're in the UK. So I'll have to go and have a look. Unfortunately, Nicola doesn't put a lot of information underneath her videos, so I've got to go back through the videos to find it. So this one, okay, so this one is the Bristol Sampler by Walder Champs, which is WDC Designs. Walder Champ cleverly created a sampler inspired by the red Bristol Samplers. So the Bristol Samplers are from an orphanage. And I've got a couple that are sitting in my cart that I want to do. They're just, they're a little bit smaller, and they're like on the 56 count, and I want to have, a few of those. I just think they're so inspired, because when you look at them, these were done by little girls. And so, you know, from varying ages, from 7 up to, you know, 18, and there's also a couple that she's got on her site that are done by older ladies as well, like adult ones. Most of the ones on their site are done by children. So yeah, like and they're just so inspired. Like, it's just such a lost art with children these days. Like, there's not, like, in my life, I don't know about other people's life, but in my life, I don't know many children apart from my kids. Like, Nerolee, if she took up handiwork, because that was the first thing that she started. She was 4 when I started teaching her how to do handiwork, and I'll have to try and, I don't have the picture. I'll have to go back through Instagram to get them. My computer crashed and I lost a few pictures and whatnot, but I'd saved them to Instagram. And she was sitting here one summer afternoon on the veranda before this was all closed in, and she was making a pincushion. I've still got the piece in storage and whatnot. I haven't turned it into a pincushion yet, because I want to wait until she's a bit older and then I'll make it for her, because I've got a feeling that she'll come back to it. And she also done a sugar skull, and it was all in backstitch, and she done it in one colour, and then she quilted it and stuff like that. And she is not like, sewing is not her thing, she tells me, but she's really good at it, like really good at it. She relaxes when she does it, but she's still not that, she hasn't got to that age where she's realized that that's what it does for her. Like, it's a therapy for her, it's a calming thing for her. But here's the thing, like, she does go back to it every now and again, and like, she won't come out, like, she'll mend her clothes. She won't throw her clothes out. If it's an item of clothing that she wants to wear all the time, she will not throw it out. So she'll come out and she'll mend her clothes. Not on the sewing machine. She does it by hand. Like, she has done darning stitches and stuff on her jeans. Like, you know, where you get that friction point on your jeans and it rubs and it wears and it gets threadbare. She's basically done the borrow technique and got a piece of out of there, because she's short like me. She's actually 2 inches shorter than me. So when her jeans get turned up, we keep that, and she uses that to repair her stuff. So, and like tops and everything that she has grown out of, she's extended the straps and stuff like that, or changed the straps, or she's got something that's too big for her, instead of not like getting rid of it or giving it away, she's adjusted the straps and everything. So I've got a feeling that she'll come back to it. She has been around it all her life, like since the moment she has been born. And so has Savannah. Dharma Jane had me crafting, but not so much sewing, more knitting and stuff like that. So she tends to go towards those sort of crafts, and she does a lot of hand making of flowers and stuff like that. And she learnt very early on that it calmed her down, so she's always got something on the go. And yeah, but Nerolee, it's not my thing. She says all the time, but she seems to do a bit of it. And she's made bags and all that sort of stuff. And I basically give them the tools and then they just go for it. Savannah, on the other hand, now she's my crafty girl. She has been crafting pretty much since the day she was born. She used to sit there and cut up paper and turn it into confetti and all that sort of stuff. And so excited for her. She's now, like, she's gravitated towards art and stuff like that and sculpture and everything, which is very much my journey of crafting. I've done a lot of different things. And I've done a lot of sculpture and stuff. My mum's got all my stuff from school. And then as I got older, I did some sculpture. Things have got broken, mislaid, lost in transit and stuff like that. I don't think I've got anything left. My mum's got that stuff. And, yeah, so she's a bit like that, and she got People's Choice. So all the Year 12 kids take their stuff up to the art gallery for their final assessment and whatnot. It's part of their final assessment, and they put on a display, like a exhibition is the word I'm looking for. And remember how a couple of weeks ago I was talking about how her and her friend were in there with the packing tape and all the rest. She got People's Choice for that because her reference point and her relatable point to that was about the war in Russia and the war in Ukraine, with Russia. And so she got People's Choice Award for that, which is like, she's playing it very, nonchalant. I don't really care. I'm just really pleased for her. Like, that is so exciting to get that. And, and she's like, she was playing it real cool when she was telling me, but I could tell she was excited. But she does all sorts of stuff. She drafts her own patterns. Excuse me. She drafts her own patterns. She is not afraid of anything. She's been drafting her own dress and skirt patterns since she was little. And when I say little, she was like 8 when she first came out and asked me. She goes, I want to make a skirt. And I said, well, I'm not the girl for that. And I just handed her YouTube on a device and off she went. And she made her sister and herself just a circle skirt just from off YouTube. And then now she's actually made her formal dress. So once she's done all the finishing touches and all the rest of it, I will get pictures of that. She won't model it. She said she won't model it for me. But I will get some pictures of it, her wearing it. And, and she was going to film the whole process, but she decided against it. But anyway, I digressed completely on that. I don't know. Anyway, handiwork. We're back to that. So this one is inspired by the Bristol Samplers. So I'm actually doing this in DMC. I'm doing it on the same color, which is 32 count. And it is the iced coffee. So you can see it's got that sort of mottling through it out there. Okay. I don't have a color picture for this one. But it was all done in red in the in the gift of stitching, and it is the issue 72, so it's their last issue of the magazine. It has the stitch, and you can get that magazine. I think there's there's 72 issues. Excuse me, I'm still coughing a lot. And it just comes on all of a sudden. I'll be talking and all of a sudden I'm coughing. So anything in front of me just goes in front of my face. Sorry. So it has all this stitching instructions and all that. And you can get the gift of stitching ceased to exist in 2012. So May, June 2012. And but you can still get that magazine. And I think it's like $1 a copy or something like that. And it's such a great magazine. I think I paid like $39 for all the copies. So it's less than $1 a copy. That I did see it pop up. And now that I've spoken about it, I'm sure my phone is listening and Instagram is listening and Facebook is listening. It'll pop up everywhere. So if you just Google the gift of stitching, it will come up. And it was an Australian magazine. So yeah. And so this is the picture. So I'm going to hold it back here. And then I'll come up close. So you can see all of that alphabet in there. A lot of alphabet in there, and then we've got some borders and stuff like that. Some more alphabet down the bottom. Now, a lot of the Bristol Samplers, they will have the name of the child that done it, the girl that done it. It will have their birth date on it, or their finish date. Sometimes I think it's a birth date that they have on it. And I don't know a lot. I'm still researching them, but what I've been learning about them, I just adore them. I absolutely adore them. I mean, some people might think they're totally boring that watch my, but I just adore them. And I think the reason I adore them so much is because of the history behind them, and stuff like that. So, and it's quite interesting to me to think that this little girl's done it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting all that done. And there's usually a crown and stuff like that, and it's usually like it'll have the moniker. So, a lot of them have Victoria Regina on it, so VR, and then the crown, because that was who was in who was the queen. So that is the colour that I'm using. That is pretty much the colour true right there. I'm not going to move it, put my hand behind it, it goes darker, but that's the true colour just there. And it is 550, and I'm doing 2 strands, and it is looking stunning. And this is not doing it. This is my favourite alphabet. Love that alphabet. So I was glad that that was in there. So yeah, so that's what I've got so far, and I'm going to get some more stitches into that. All right, the next one, this has ended up being a long video because I've gas-bagged about my kids. Sorry to those that don't want to know about my kids, but they're a big part of my life. You know, and we've got some big changes happening in our house at the moment. We've got one that's already left school and working full-time, and she's wrapped with her pay. And I've got Savannah, who's about to finish high school and go off to university, so we've got limited time with her. So you're going to hear a lot about my kids. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. It is what it is. Okay, so the next one I'm going to be working on is Huckleberry Farm, the blue flower. I love her stuff. I've got lots of her charts. This is what it looks like. It's absolutely gorgeous. Sorry, it's in a black and white photo, but yeah. So this one, I am working this one on a grey fabric. Again, this is called Silver Ash, and it is from Sew It All Australia. It is an even weave, and it is a 32 count. And so it is orientated this way, Nicole. So that is what I've got done so far. I am using CXC. Am I using CXC? Let me just have a look what I'm using. No, I'm not. I am using the called for colours. I thought I was using CXC, but I'm not, because what I've done is I've put all my flosses on here. I think I used the called for colours for this one because it was just so stunning. And so I have all the colours on here. I've got little baggies with all the labels, so I know what I've got. Okay, now that the garbage truck is gone, so I'm using, I believe I am using the called for colours in this. Oh, actually, I have not used, I've swapped them out for ones that I have. So what I did, look at the back of the chart, Nicole. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone through and I've changed a couple of things. So DMC 8, I didn't have any in stock at the time, so I'm using 3860. It is the closest colour to it. I'm using all the DMC colours. And then I have changed out the Weeks Dye Works for, and that's why they're in here. So Weeks Skinny Dip, I changed out for linen. Weeks Broom Tree, I changed out for fawn. Okay, so I'm either using, I don't know what I've got here, just let me have a look. So according to my notes, I wasn't sure what I was going to use for Weeks Broom Tree. So I've got 2 options here, DMC 3013 or fawn in the Weeks Dye Works. I'm going to see which looks better. And just looking at this, I have actually decided to go with fawn. That because it's got little speckles of grey through it. Green through it. And then I've just swapped out a heap of other ones. So Weeks Chestnut, I've changed out for Mocha. Weeks Twilight, I've changed out for Deep Sea. Taffeta, I've changed for Plum. Weeks lichen, I've just gone with the DMC, which is set because she's given you both conversions on the back. So that's one thing I really liked about this. Country Redwood, I went for Bordeaux, which is like a maroony sort of colour. I liked that better than that colour. And Weeks Bee's Knees, I went for Queen Bee in Classic Colourworks. So, yeah, so I've got all my labels of the things that I've used and I've kept them in there. And then I've got this here to keep it all organised. So that just sits in my project bag. I had never used them before and I actually really like them because I can load up a heap of needles. And I'll just show you in the, if you haven't used these before. I just got these off AliExpress. I think they were like $1, $2 maybe. But I'll just bring all these flosses in and get a little bit of control on the unruliness of them all. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Okay, and they just hang down. So this is foam here, and it just wedges, you wedge all your floss in there. So you can cut all your floss to length, and then you can just wedge it on there. It's like floss drops really, but it's all in one place. And you've got a piece of paper that slides in here and it gives you where you can write everything down. And I've just used on that, I've just used the friction pen so I can iron it off if I need to. Or you could use lead pencil as well. And then these little purple pads here are actually foam. So you can see I've got needles loaded up ready to go. Or when I finish a stitch, I could just put the needle in there. And I buy my needles in bulk. So when I buy my needles, I buy 100 at a time. So when I've got a project like this, I don't do it for my HAEDs, but for project, I've got 2 of these and I'm thinking that I want to get more because I find, so you can see it's a lot neater for me. And worst case scenario, I can twist that and then I can sit it into the bag and it stays all neat. So when I pull it out, it's not all unruly. And like when I put the needles in, I also slot it in. So you can see here, I'll just pull this needle out. You can see here, I've slotted it into where that thread is. So if it should fall out, it won't come out of that because that's quite a good grip on those. And I've just got all the floss that I need is in there and then I don't have to worry about it. And I take it from, I've got another one that I take from my master. So I take from my master set of flosses and just put a couple of strands on it. And sometimes I might have to add a bit extra on. And I'm doing the same with all my blue flower stuff has those things. So, yeah. So I have done a bit of swapping and changing out. And she had a grey fabric on hers, but I went for a lighter grey. But that's where I'm starting. And that's what I'm going to be working on. So you're going to see the progress on these over the next month. They come out for this month. Sometimes they get worked on during the year, but 9 times out of 10 they don't. So I started those other 2. Huckleberry Farm I started at the end of last year. I think I started it at the end of September, end of September. The other 2 I started in September of last year, so they're coming out again. So my plan is to work on them every, so each, for 2 days I'll work on them and I'll do them in a rotation. So basically each week I will get 2 days of stitching in on them, and so my stitching sessions will be around the 3 to 5 hours mark, depending on the day. Weekend is a little bit better, and I'll rotate them differently, so each one will get a weekend. And then once that other one comes, then I will basically start it and go from there. All right, so that's all the stitching news that I've got right now and whatnot. But I did do something that is related to stitching, and that is the project bag. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen it or not. If you haven't, it was this week's sewing tutorial. So this is a project bag, and these will be for sale. So all you have to do is ask me. This one is not. This is the last of the fabric of this. This is actually mine for Lady Halloween. Okay, I cannot get any more of this fabric, but I will keep an eye out, and as soon as I get some, I will let you know. And I'm having a look at Halloween fabrics right now as well. So basically, if you want a wristlet on your bag, it's an extra $5, and that just covers the hardware and the fabric. It's no extra cost in the time or anything like that. Okay. So yeah, so when you order, you just have to say, I would like a wristlet, and I will add the wristlet to it. And yeah, I've still got to work out how I can, I think you have to add it, like I have to have a separate post for that. But yeah, once I get a couple in stock, I will have the list for you, and that'll be on the website. But there is a tutorial. If you make them yourself, you can head over to Wednesday's tutorial, and you can see that there, and you can make one for yourself. I'll go through step by step there. And if you just want to make the project bag, there is also a video for just the project bag alone. I do have a couple of other project bags coming in the near future, so there will be a playlist for that. But that is it for me this week. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about my children and their crafting journey and stuff like that. I do appreciate it. That was a bit of a tangent, but the Bristol Samplers just bring that out in me because they are done by children. So I will see you all again next week. I'm looking forward to going and stitching on all of these samplers and getting some more stitches in. And now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to spin the wheel to see which. I'll put them in a spinny wheel and see which one I'm going to work on first because I can't make a decision. I'm leaning towards Janet Irving. I might just start with her and see how we go. But you will find out that next week. But that's it from me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you've made it this far, make sure that you, and you're not yet subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the little bell icon beside it, and that way you're not going to miss out on any future posts. I will be joining you again tomorrow for Slow Stitching Saturday, and we'll be doing some more work on our project. And yeah, so make sure you tune in then. And leave me a comment down below of, let me think, what can you put down below? Put me down a little lady in a fancy dress if you've got that emoji on your phone. Put that down the bottom. So I know you made it this far, but that is it from me. Have a wonderful day. I hope you get lots of stitching in, and I will see you all again next time. Bye for now.